Now we're going to look at solving equations that involve percents. So let's look at the first fill-in-the-blank problem. The blank in a percent problem refers to the number you are taking the percent of. That would be the base. The amount in a percent problem refers to the result of taking a percent. So now we're going to look at translating. We're not going to solve, we're just going to translate. Now when you are translating from words into a math equation, there's two words that you see a lot of in several of those problems. And that's the word is and the word of. Whenever you see is, that means an equal sign, like 2 plus 2 is 4 equals 4. And whenever you see of, you should think multiplication. So when I go down here to my problem, what is? Now we have to use a variable to represent the unknown. So I'm going to write over this in a different color so you can see it maybe a little bit better. What is? So what, so I'm going to replace that with a W, is 15% and then of 60. So what is that going to look like again? W is 15% times 60. Let's look at the next one. 14% of, so I see the of, so that means to multiply, of 20, I see is means equal, of what? So 14% of 20 is our unknown. And you can use whatever variable that you want. Let's look at the next one. 25 is, so I see is, so that's equal. What percent, so what and percent of 125. So 25 equals W percent of 125. Let's skip down to number 7. 20 is 45% of what? So 20 equals 45% times our unknown. Now let's actually translate and then solve. All we've done so far is translate, so now let's take it one step further. So let's go ahead and translate first. So what is 35% of 200? So what is 35% times 200? The first thing we're going to have to do is change our percent to a decimal. So I'm going to move my decimal point 2 places, which gives me 0.35 times 200. So now, all I need to do in my calculator is go 0.35 times 200, and that is 70. So 70 is 35% of 200. Let's translate the next one. 125% of, so remember of means times, 42 is what? So 125% of 42 is what? Again, let's rewrite our percent as a decimal. So remember, you move it 2 places. So this is 1.25 times 42. So 1.25 times 42 is 52.5. So these two problems are very similar. The first one has the what is at the beginning, and the second one has the what is at the end. Now let's look at these. Now, the first two, 16 and 17, are asking for a percent. So that's different from the two problems we just worked. So again, if we translate, what percent of 640 is 400? So what percent times 640 is 400? Now this is a baby equation. How do we solve for W? How do we solve multiplication problems? Well, we have to divide. So I have to divide or work backwards, so that's why I'm using division. So now I'm going to have a W percent equals whatever 400 divided by 640 is, which is 0.625. Since they want the answer as a percent, I have to move my decimal point 2 places to the right to get that percent. So my answer is 62.5%. So 62.5% of 640 is 400. Let's skip down and do one of these others down here. 45 is 60% of what? So again, if we translate, is equals, of means times, W. So my equation is 45 equals 60% times the unknown. Again, I'm going to have to divide because it's a multiplication equation. I'm going to have to divide. Now instead of the percent, let's just go ahead and convert that to our decimal. So we really need to do 45 divided by 0.60, which ends up being 75. Now, we don't have to put a percent symbol on this because 75 is not a percent. The 60 was the percent. You can always double check your work by taking 60% times 75 and making sure that you do get the 45, and you do. So you'll just have to translate with watch your is, watch your of, and then solve the equation.